NFL breaking news, Earl Thomas, Mark Ingram headed to the Baltimore Ravens. This one is sweeping throughout the NFL offseason, and the NFL free agency rumors that we've been talking about a lot here at Chat Sports have been around Earl Thomas, because Earl Thomas has been rumored to go to the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Browns. Nope, none of them. Baltimore Ravens are the winner, and if you're the Ravens, this is the kind of move that you need to make to be able to compete with maybe the best team in the AFC North right now, the Cleveland Browns, after their blockbuster trade for Odell Beckham Jr. And if you don't know the details on the OBJ trade rumor, guess what? We put out a video just last night on this one because it was absolutely astonishing. And remember, the Earl Thomas to the Ravens is one of those moves where overall, the Ravens, they let go of Eric Weddle, and now 5 years, $55 million, and $32 million of which is guaranteed. The Ravens, now, they were the team that needed to step up with some money because we knew Thomas, he wanted to get paid, and now he's going to get paid, and he's going to enter a Ravens team that has been one of the better defensive units in the NFL. And when I look at this Ravens team, they had a big leader in Eric Weddle, but he was 34 years old. They moved on from him. He signed elsewhere. Now, when you look at this defensive back depth chart with Humphreys, Jalen Smith, Young, Jefferson, and Earl Thomas, again, the Ravens have been one of the better defensive units in the NFL. And when you see that Baker Mayfield now has Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., heck, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb in that backfield. Oh, wait, you got to worry about the guy who led the NFL in passing yards last year with Ben Roethlisberger, who still has Juju Smith-Schuster. And then, yeah, maybe we don't need to worry about the Bengals all that too much. But again, when you're going up against some high-class offenses, you better have a defensive depth chart that looks like this. And Earl Thomas, a ball-hawking safety, is an absolute great fit for this Ravens defense. When I look at what Thomas did in 2018, we knew his season was cut a little bit short. And when I see it overall, Thomas, the 4 games he played, he had 22 tackles, 3 interceptions. Overall, I think Thomas is one of the better free safeties in the NFL. It's just, unfortunately, he broke his leg. He flipped off the Seahawks because he was not happy about it, because the entire reports before he signed with the Seahawks again was he wanted to get paid in case he got injured. And then he got injured, so we knew Earl wanted to get paid. And when you look at his career production, I mean, 684 tackles, 67 pass breakups, 28 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. Earl has been one of the better defensive players for the Seahawks, and he was one of the reasons why the Seahawks had the Legion of Boom. Like, they were a great defense. It's one of the reasons why they went to 2 straight Super Bowls. Now Earl Thomas is going to be able to bring that wisdom to the Baltimore Ravens, who decided to move on from C.J. Mosley, decided to move on from Za'Darius Smith, and now you're looking at Earl Thomas, who's going to be able to really impact that defense in a very productive way. If you're just joining us, look at the bottom there. Breaking news, Earl Thomas to the Baltimore Ravens. The deal, 5 years, $55 million and $55 million, $32 million in guaranteed money. Thomas is going to be the replacement for Eric Weddle. And also, I know I'm the only guy that looks like I'm on screen, but my dude Tom Downey is behind the scenes working the graphics and giving his intake on this. So Tom, what do you think?
Sup, guys? This has gone interestingly. I have never produced before, so I apologize for any mistakes there. I'm disappointed. I see a lot of Cowboys fans in the comments section who are upset that Earl Thomas did not join with the Cowboys. But we told you this for a while. The Cowboys were not going to pay Earl Thomas big money. Also, it's 4 years, $55 million. Let me get that fixed for you guys. My bad.
4 years, $55 million,
Yeah.
$32 million guaranteed. Earl Thomas to the Ravens. We've got some breaking news. And again, Tom is behind the scenes producing and talking, multitasking, the kind of guy that can pat his head and rub his belly.
I've literally never produced in my entire life. There was one mistake earlier. It took me like a minute to fix it, but we're back on track there. Now, make note, as you mentioned, Mitchell, Earl Thomas is not the only player coming into the Baltimore Ravens. They have also signed Mark Ingram to a 3-year, $15 million deal. You're a fantasy guy. This one we saw coming. What do you think?
We predicted Mark Ingram to either go to the Saints Saints or the Ravens, and as soon as we saw it, the Saints signed running back Latavius Murray to 4 years, $14 million, you and I both went on the show and we said, Mark Ingram's going to the Ravens. Heck, I tweeted it out probably almost over 24 hours ago that Mark Ingram will be going to the Baltimore Ravens, and he spent his first 8 years with the Saints, and I think he had a pretty productive career with the Saints. Now, we could argue that maybe it was a little bit underwhelming in the first few years because, I mean, let's not forget he was a Heisman winner, and some would argue maybe one of the worst Heisman winners of all time. However, with that being said, Mark Ingram is an older running back, 2016, 2017, over 1,000 rushing yards, and now he's on the Baltimore Ravens, and their running back depth chart was thin. I mean, no shots at Gus Edwards, but he's not Mark Ingram. Kenneth Dixon, who I do like a lot, has just never been able to pan out, whether it's off-the-field issues or injuries. But now you have Mark Ingram, who I think is now going to be able to line up next to Lamar Jackson, and they're going to pound the football, maybe 100 times a game, Don.
As a Kenneth Dixon fantasy owner in Dynasty, I'm a little bit disappointed, but not overly surprised. And I don't think the Ravens were ever really all that in on Lev Bell. Mark Ingram makes a lot more sense from a money standpoint for them as well.
I mean, 3 years, $15 million for Mark Ingram, I think you could argue is a better deal in terms of production, risk, value, reward. And again, I mean, he's going to be a running back who you're going to be able to give the ball to, let's say 15, 20 touches a game. I mean, he had only 645 rushing yards, I believe, with 6 touchdowns last year, still averaged 4.7 yards per carry. But throughout his entire career, Mark Ingram, again, has been a very solid running back, and he's kind of been overshadowed the last 2 years by Alvin Kamara and Alvin Kamara's emergence in that offense. And again, as soon as that we saw the Saints go out and get Latavius Murray, it was like, all right, Mark, where are you going? Let's figure it out. Because when you can find a running back who's going to make $5 million a year, who's averaged 4.5 yards his entire career with 50 touchdowns, that's pretty solid. And Mark Ingram, to me, just seems like a running back that would fit great with the Baltimore Ravens. Again, if you are just joining us, the Baltimore Ravens have signed Earl Thomas and Mark Ingram. And I think it's one of those moves that you're going to have to do because, again, when the Cleveland Browns are going out making splashes left and right, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but the Cleveland Browns are the team to beat right now, I think, in the AFC North. The Ravens, they're trying to be able to compete with them by going out and getting one of the top free agents in the safety market, one of the top safeties in the free agent market, and Earl Thomas, signing him to 4 years, $55 million, and he's getting his guaranteed $32 million, and then also going out and getting running back Mark Ingram, 3 years, $15 million. Tom, between Mark Ingram, Earl Thomas, both good moves, but I want to know from everybody who's watching, you know, we might not be able to get this up, so just bear with us a little bit here.
It's not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry.
Who's going to win the AFC North? I want you guys to comment below who's going to win the AFC North.
I will try to get this weigh-in up. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good to us. Tom, you keep doing your thing, my man. Who's going to win the AFC North? Is it going to be the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns? Let's be real. It's not going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. I think we can all agree on that one. There's no doubt about that. But I think you're looking at this North, and it really might switch up a little bit simply because of... Did I type NFC North? Well, guys, I meant AFC North. Yes, we did it, Tom. We did it. Who's going to win the AFC North? We want to know from everybody watching. Steelers, Bengals. Nah, I kid. The Browns or the Ravens. Who's going to win the AFC North? We want you to comment below, interact with us.
Are you in now on the Browns, Mitch?
I'm 100% in on the Browns. The Browns are, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of mad at myself for not going to BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, and putting money down on the Browns to win the Super Bowl, because if you would have done it, I'm going to say like a month ago, 2 months ago, the payout would be huge, and the Browns are 100% in win now mode, and I absolutely love it. So comment below. We got TD Sports Cards saying Browns. Tyshawn Burchard says Ravens. Dwayne Porter, Browns winning. What else we got? Nasir, he says Browns. Will Tom Downey lose his virginity in 2019? People are talking in the comment section.
I'm getting married in like
I absolutely love it, guys. Keep interacting with us. Hit me up on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Make sure you get Tom behind the scenes at What Going Downey. Now, the Ravens have been a pretty active team thus far in free agency, not only bringing players in, but they've also lost a ton of players. Now, C.J. Mosley, a linebacker who went and got $17 million with the New York Jets getting paid, and he can thank Quan Alexander a lot for that. Then Zardarius Smith, another good outside linebacker. He's on his way to the Green Bay Packers, and another player who I think just kind of got pushed under the rug a little bit because of the play of C.J. Mosley or Terrell Suggs. John Brown, he's headed to Buffalo, where he's going to join Cole Beasley. He's going to join Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills, because I guess when people spread out fake news of Antonio Brown going to the Bills, their plan B option is John Brown. Eric Weddle, free safety, he's on his way to the Rams, which I think is one of the reasons why they went out and signed Earl Thomas. And then Terrell Suggs. Terrell Suggs is an outside linebacker, went to Ball So Hard University, now back over to the Arizona Cardinals, where I think is an interesting fit overall, because, let's not forget, Terrell Suggs is getting up there in age, but maybe the production has slid just a little bit in terms of production. Now, those are the players the Ravens have lost. Now, in terms of did the Ravens maybe overpay Earl Thomas, here's some other top safety signings that we've seen go down in just the last few days. We have Landon Collins, went for 6 years, $84 million. 45 of that million was guaranteed. And then the Honey Badger, 3 years, $42 million. For me personally, I see that deal and I'm absolutely loving it. LaMarcus Joyner is going to the Oakland Raiders, 4 years, $42 million. A great deal, I think, there for the Raiders if they can get the 2017 version of LaMarcus Joyner. Adrian Amos going to the dark side, going to the Packers, trying to get revenge against the Bears. And then Tashaun Gibson, 3 years, $22 million. There was reports that the Jags were trying to trade Gibson, but at the end of the day, it more or less was just like a switch between him and Jackson. Again, here are the other top safety free agents that have been signed. Earl Thomas, if you're just joining us, Earl Thomas to the Baltimore Ravens, 4 years, $55 million, $32 million guaranteed. But wait, that wasn't the only move that the Baltimore Ravens made. They also went out and they wanted a running back, and they got one in Mark Ingram. And Mark Ingram, I think, is one of those players who is going to be able to step in right away for the Ravens and be like, okay, what do you guys need me to do? You guys need me to get some touches? You need me to run the ball? You need me to take some pressure off young quarterback Lamar Jackson? All I'm saying is, I know, for shame, bad, I know. Here we go. Mark Ingram, Earl Thomas to the Ravens. Are they going to be able to compete with the Cleveland Browns, with the Pittsburgh Steelers? We want everybody to comment below. Who's going to win the AFC North? Tom, I'll ask you one more time. Who's going to win the AFC North?
It's the Browns. Again, I was on this before the Odell Beckham trade.
Yes,
Come
you were.
on as a lifelong Browns fan for days now. The Browns are going to win the AFC North.
Sounds good. Again, one more time, breaking news here. Earl Thomas, Mark Ingram to the Baltimore Ravens. Make sure you guys subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're going to keep this video looping. I'll be in the comment section along with Tom. So if there's any more breaking news, you know where to get it. Again, Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatsportstv.